like to start every morning with something we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym, and we try to make sense of it. Now, why do we do this? Because most of us did not choose to become part of the autism community. It was something that showed up on our doorstep and said, hi, guess what you're going to be doing? Different than what you thought you were going to be doing, right? And along with me, I'm going to bring a whole host of words that you never thought that you would ever need to know and have never heard of before. And by the way, you need to learn these really quick if you really want to get something accomplished. It can be so overwhelming and frustrating. So we like to shed just a little bit of light on some of these terms. We give you first the actual definition, which I love to make fun of, just being honest, because the definitions are often crazy. They're worse than the actual jargon term. Then we give you a working definition, which I always say makes the BCBAs break out into hives, but we enjoy that too. And it gives us a place to start from, to learn, to grow, to make these terms our own. Because when we do start to understand these terms, we save time and money and we make more progress. That's why we do the jargon of the day. So this week, we're continuing on with our jargon terms that are about differential reinforcement, because one of our favorite viewers asked us to make sure that we do differential reinforcement, which has always made me particularly itchy because honestly, I didn't get the finer points, and this has made me have to get the finer points. So you're ready? First we did DRA, then we did DRO, and now we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, DRI. What? Okay, DRI, which is differential reinforcement of incompatible behavior. And let's take a look at what our actual definition is. It's a procedure for decreasing problem behavior in which reinforcement is delivered that is topographically, I think that's how you say it, topographically incompatible with the behavior targeted for reduction and withheld following instances of the problem behavior. And that is from Cooper Heron, and I couldn't even pronounce it, let alone understand what it means. Okay, DRI, let's move on to our working definition. DRI, we're only going to reinforce behaviors that by their very nature can't happen at the same time as the challenging behavior. Okay, so let's see if we can't talk about DRI within the context of why isn't it DRA and why isn't it DRO. So what we learned is that DRA, we're going to take a very specific, we're going to figure out what behavior that we want to see happen in, so the child is engaging in some sort of behavior, right, that's challenging. Maybe they're kicking people, I don't know. Maybe they're spitting on their hands and smearing it on the desk, right? That's a big one that a lot of people have to deal with in classrooms. Okay, so if we do DRA, we're going to say, well, what's the behavior that we want the child to do? And when we give reinforcement, it's going to be for doing that specific behavior that we want them to do instead of the behavior that they were doing. That's DRA. Okay. DRO, we're not going to find a specific behavior that we're targeting, because maybe there are a bunch of behaviors that we want to do, right? Instead of the challenging behavior, and we're going to literally reinforce absolutely anything else that's not spitting on the hands and putting it on the desk. Anything else we're going to reinforce. Great. So it's not this targeted, we're just reinforcing this one behavior. We're going to reinforce anything that is not the spitting on the hands, doing the whatever. When we do DRI, what we're going to do is find a specific behavior, but it's not DRA because we're adding a little asterisk to it. It's a behavior that the child can't do while they're doing the behavior. So if the child's spitting on the hands and drawing on the table, and we decide to teach them to crochet, which is not something we would do, right? But you see, I'm making a leap here, right? So that it'll be clear. If we decide to teach them to crochet, you can't crochet and spit on your hands and draw on the table at the same time. You'd have to stop crocheting to spit on your hands and put it on the table. That's DRI. We're going to give an incompatible behavior, and we are going to reinforce the incompatible behavior. So every time the child is crocheting, we are going to reinforce because it's incompatible with spitting on the hands and doing whatever. So I think for those of us who aren't designing ABA programs, it's just important to know what the difference between the three is. I don't think it's as important for us right now to know, well, why would you use one as opposed to the other? Because sometimes it seems to me, but we'll get a BCBA in here to talk about it. It seems to me that, you can try one of them, and if that's not working, then you go to another one. Sometimes, it's as simple as that. But I think there are specific times when it's like, oh, well, this is why, and it has to do with the environment. But if you think about it, DRI is something that you're absolutely going to employ at some point because, and we're going to talk a little bit about distraction in just a minute, but if we have, people do this all the time. I'm going to date myself really badly here. When I was a little kid, there was a show on television that was called Kojak, and it was Telly Savalas. He was a bald detective. I never got to stay up late enough to watch it, but the big thing with him was that he was trying to quit smoking. And so he walked around everywhere with a Tootsie Pop in his mouth. He was this tough, bald, guy. But the big funny was that he always went everywhere with a Tootsie Pop. So there was a lollipop sticking out of his mouth because he couldn't smoke and suck the lollipop at the same time. DRI. And if you think about it, what are the other things that I have a friend who manages to maintain her weight and be skinny and svelte because anytime that she wants to snack, she gets up and brushes her teeth. It's because she can't brush her teeth and snack, and she doesn't like the feeling after. You know what I mean? So it's kind of clever. DRI is a pretty amazing thing when we know how to use it, and it can be particularly fabulous in a classroom. If we see that there is a behavior that a child is doing, like for instance, the spitting on the hands and doing stuff on the tables, we maybe give them a fidget toy because if the fidget toy gets sticky, it's not reinforcing to them, right? So it can be something that's really, really useful in a lot of different circumstances. DRI, we're reinforcing only a targeted behavior that is incompatible with whatever you can't do it at the same time. So that's our DRI, and we want to thank DJ for making us go through DRA, DRO, DRI. Hopefully it's clearer to you now, and I haven't completely confused you.